Hey everybody, this is Jose Blasco. We are about to start in around 20 seconds. Let's use this time for a sound check. Please go ahead and give me a confirmation on the chat box if that's okay. And that would mean that you hear my voice, you see my screen, everything is good, and we are ready to start. Thank you so much. Very nice. Thank you for that. Good, perfect. Okay, so we just reached the top of the hour, so it's time to maximize our introduction screen and begin with today's session. Hello everybody, today it's December 3, 2019. My name is Jose Blasco, I will be your guide in today's session. Today we're getting together for short-term purposes. We're gonna be doing some intraday trading. The typical process will run, it's to look at the futures markets as well as looking at the Forex markets. I'm eager to begin the session today, actually, after the session that we had last week. That was a pretty slow week with Thanksgiving. Hopefully today is going to be more fun. As Dirk was suggesting a few minutes ago in the chat box, let's make some money today, isn't it? Very nice. Okay, so let's get started. Of course, we have the disclaimer first, so I'll read the disclaimer and we begin. Disclaimer, the following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Traditive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through a demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive on using our products. And that's it. That's the disclaimer. The session is now officially introduced and we are ready to get started, okay? So for the ones of you joining us for the first time, just a quick explanation of what we have on the screen right now. On the left, we have futures markets. In the middle, we have the majors, and on the right, we have the minors, okay? So Forex on the right, futures on the left. Notice that the time frames what we use in futures are going to be very short term, starting with 15 minutes to check the climate, 1 hour, and also 4 hours. Where in the middle part, we are going for slightly larger time frames because we are dealing with Forex being non-centralized markets. So with the majors that are very liquid, we start with 60 and 4 hours. And with the minors, we have more, but also they are a little less liquid. So our starting point is going to be 4 hour time frame for climate purposes, okay? So we're going to be using auto climate as part of our process, of course. Very convenient. With interest station, we can run auto climate not only on the chart, but also on radar screen, which is a unique feature built in interest station. And that's going to help saving us time because basically we're going to be looking at the golden highlighted opportunities, okay? Every time we got golden, it's going to attract our attention. Of course, there are a few more conditions, okay? When we have the word hopeful, it doesn't mean the trade is not valid, but we may be a little late. In this case, 5 candles out of 439. So we slightly surpassed what a probability would suggest. We can still take the trade with half the size, isn't it? But the probability of the trade is certainly a little less, okay? So we don't appreciate hopeful as much as we like to see sensible. Sensible is much more interesting, okay? Because it means that you are in a much earlier time in that propagation of the climate. 1 out of 6 gives you an opportunity to enter trades with a much more, if you wish, much more likely longer lasting move, okay? Now, having said all of that, we also need to be careful with the color of this box, which in this case is gray. When you have boxes on the left with gray color, it means the climate is not confirmed. So even though we may have a sensible situation here, or here it's hopeful, or here, for example, it's sensible, okay? But we have the gray box, and that would mean the climate is not confirmed. So again, if you were to trade, it is not crazy, but it is less probability. What we're going to be looking for as a preferred setup is what we can see on the right with the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, where we do have the golden alert, we have the word sensible, and the box here is not gray out. The box is of a specific color, in this case red, which means it's a falling market, 2 candles into 8, certainly right time to plan a trade with the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. So as the session develops, we'll see different flashing lights in different places, and we'll just go with the flow, keep adapting to wherever the opportunities are, and double check with our charts and our process if the opportunities are valid or not, okay? So that is the plan. And let's begin. Okay, so looking at futures first. Okay, notice that at this moment in time we do have one sensible opportunity, but it's not confirmed. Okay, so we're just gonna have to wait until the next close in the 15-minute time frame, which will happen in 11 minutes from now. It's gonna be 9:15 New York time, and that gray box is likely going to change to some other color. So we'll be able to see then what to do. At the moment, we do have a potential opportunity with natural gas. Okay, but way too late. Okay, we are talking very hopeful. We are talking about 18 candles into climates that should be climates of 4.67. So that market has been extremely extended with a 2.79% move in today's price activity. Okay, so we're gonna have to wait for some sort of a pause, a correction, a change of climate, something like that gives us the opportunity to enter. So no futures opportunity as we speak. I'm sure in a few minutes from now everything will have changed, but as we speak, no opportunities with the futures markets. Okay, also equities, I didn't say it. Of course, equity markets, S&P and NASDAQ are extremely popular markets to trade. Notice that they have been moving 0.91% going down, 1.18% going down. Very extended markets to the downside as well. So you can see here 18 candle out of 694. So very extended markets. So again, we're gonna have to wait again for a change of climate or something like that. Again, it's a matter of minutes. Things happen quickly. Look at that. Talking about quickly. A few minutes ago, we didn't have this opportunity with the US dollar, Canadian dollar, but it just appeared. We got a confirmed climate, blue color. We got a near sensible opportunity, one candle out of 4. Hey, let's go ahead and take a look at the Canadian dollar and let's begin the day with this potential trade, okay? So I am loading a trading view. US dollar, Canadian dollar, this is the chart I am loading right now. Again, the setup we are gonna be using is 240 for the climate, 21 for the UFOs, okay? And so let's begin the planning. Okay, so what do we have? We have a defined climate, as red screen cheated us. One candle out of 562 rounded up to 6. So 1 out of 6, certainly a good time for us to enter the trade. When looking at the value for the average, that value is 1.3301, which very nicely falls inside this UFO from 3302 to 3295, which also overlaps with that particular kind of overlaps with that particular UFO. Actually it doesn't, because this is 02 and this is 03, so actually it doesn't, but almost. Okay, almost. The bottom part is 95, okay, which does not overlap with 88. So that's the UFO, my friends. The UFO that we just found on the 21-minute time frame qualifies as a valid entry. Okay, so anyway, knowing that we have a proper climate, a proper entry, let's pause, let's rewind, start again. Our flowchart suggests to look at the climate. We have a good one. Second step is to look at the target. So I am maximizing the 4-hour time frame with the US dollar, Canadian dollar, and I am now turning on AutoUFOs to see if there is any red UFO that could be our target, and I'm sure there is. Okay, probably just a little higher. So we're gonna move this down, and yes, indeed, pretty far away, like 100 pips higher, we have. I'm just making a note for myself. We have a target located at 134.13. So that would be the target for this long opportunity trading US dollar, Canadian dollar. Okay, exciting when we see targets to be so far located. Okay, the reality is that when you look at extended climates, okay, like this one, so you would see price travel from here to here, which, you know, if we look at the numbers, is 33.20 to 32. Okay, so it's 100 plus pips. Okay, so somehow if right on this trade we may be about to see another 100 plus pip move. So, you know, that target, it's certainly far, but that target is also certainly achievable if the Canadian dollar just give us a little bit of a push. Okay, so we're gonna expose ourselves to that potential opportunity, and of course we're gonna have to plan for, you know, we're gonna need to be more specific with the entry as well as safety target and every component needed in the trade. Okay, so anyway, so let's make a few notes here on the screen. Okay, so the final target, we just discussed it, is going to be 13413. That's going to be the final target. Somewhere in the middle of the move, we're going to have a safety target, which I need to go back to this and calculate because it's a mathematical calculation, isn't it? We're going to have a long entry lining up with 1.33021, which is the green UFO we have in the 21-minute time frame on the left. But remember, we always round to 4 decimal places, and because it's a buy order, it's going to be 13303. And then also, because it's a buy order, we need to add 2 additional pips because we buy from the ask, given the fact that the chart is the bid. We need to add a little bit of pricing to not to miss the trade. So the rule that we use is 2 pips. So therefore, that would be 133.05. That is the entry. So now that we have the entry, it's time to define the stop loss, which is going to be located below 132.954. We need to round this figure to a 4 decimal place figure because it's going to be a sell order. It's a sell stop. That's a sell order. We round it down to 95. Okay. And also because it's a stop, we need to add breathing room, especially given the decentralized nature of Forex. It's critical to add breathing room since different brokers have different prices. So our rule is 5 pips, and therefore 95 minus 5 is going to be 90. Okay, so that makes it pretty simple and pretty clear. Okay, the entry being 05 and the stop 90, we got 15 pips of risk, and this helps us to define the last parameter of the trade, which is the location for the safety target, which is going to be located at 133.20, which is equal distance if you were to compare entry and safety target versus entry versus stop loss. Okay, so basically this is right there your safety target at 133.20. As long as price comes here, bounces and reaches that point, you are in a risk-free trade, and then leave it alone for another almost 100 pips to reach 134.13, which is our final target. Okay, so this would be the time for you to take a note or take a screenshot or both, and from there we'll go check radar screen to see where other opportunities may be, but this is opportunity number 1 for the day. Yeah, Kamal, very nice to see that today is your first live session. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. Yeah, Bojan, thank you very much for answering the question related to the EMA. Mark, I'm looking at your question, but I'm not fully sure what do you mean with what session was this setup in. Okay, this setup is being planned real time. So this is a trade for you to enter. Actually, we are 1 pip away from entry. It's 133.06. So it's basically it. Okay, it's time to place an order if this trade is a trade that you want to execute in your account. Okay, cool. Okay, good. So let's go back to red screen and see what's available. Wow, look at that. Nothing flashing in the futures markets. It's actually quite rare to see the futures markets in that position. Again, it does happen that many of the markets have stretched greatly, and therefore they are far away from the EMS. Remember that we have an alert based on the ATR, which is 0.5. So whenever those markets give us a good setup and they are less than half of an ATR, 0.5, less than half of an ATR away from the EMA, we get an alert. And notice how we got 1, 2, 2, 1.7, 1.8. So 0.6 will be the only one, but that one is hopeful. Okay, and 0.6, but that one is not confirmed. So again, we still need to have a little bit more waiting time in those ones. Okay. Okay. The climate radar screens. Okay, got it, Mark. I follow you now. So yeah, so in our YouTube channel, take a look at the sharpening sessions, and within the sharpening sessions, you'll be able to find one with the title Auto Climate. So that's the one you want to watch, where we explain how to use the setup here with the radar screens and everything. Okay. Good. So back to our currency pairs. Okay, and I would suggest that it's time for us to take a look at the one I said before, the AUDNZD, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, in a 4-hour time frame climate. So let's go take a look. I need to change my watch list. This is a minor. So AUDNZD, here we go. Let's see if the setup is compatible or is not. So what do we have? We have a current climate lasting for 2 candles. When the climate is down, which is the case with a red dot, that climate is supposed to last for 6 candles, and we are candle number 2. So there is still room for this to continue falling based on probabilities. Okay, so we certainly would like to catch that movement. When it comes to the EMA right there, you can see its value right here, which is 10499. Okay, 10499. It's certainly falling in the middle of right here, 10496 to 10504. So this UFO is certainly a valid UFO for an entry. I would like to also look at 96 to 50. We got an overlapping with 98, and yeah, so then we got 04, which is also overlapping with 03. Okay, so I'll need to look a little more into that. Okay, oh yeah, that's the top. Okay, got it, that's the top. Yeah, so 03. Yeah, so good. Yeah, that's good. So we have overlapping with a range time frame together with a 21-minute time frame. We have overlappings with that particular UFO. The top here is 04, which is higher than 03, so we can ignore 03. And here the bottom is 96, which is lower than 98, but it's higher than 94. Okay, so we're gonna be using 94, okay, as the valid entry price to not to miss the trade. It's gonna make the UFO slightly wider by just a couple of pips, if you wish, just below the red line, going for 94 instead of 96 because of that UFO right there. Okay, just 1 second, guys. I need to clear my throat. 1 second. Okay, sorry for that. I am back. Okay, so since it does look like we have a valid entry, we have a valid climate. So let's stop, rewind, start the process. So process in the flowchart is to check the climate. We did that. Second part of the process is to look at the target. So I am turning on AutoUFOs on the same time frame, which is the 240-minute time frame. And we can see here that for the Aussie New Zealand dollar, we are also provided with a target which is located quite far out, okay? Quite far out, and that is 1.03643, which again, this is gonna be a buy order, isn't it? So we need to round up to the 4th decimal place, so that will make it 65, and then because it's a buy order, we need to add 2. So that would be 67. So 10367, that would be the final target. Okay, that would be the final target. But you know, it's looking quite far. And again, just to be visual. Okay, so if you were to look at the propagation that we had at that case, so that was the move from here to here, more or less, which puts you from 10550 all the way to 104, let's call it 70 or so. So this is kind of like 80 pips, okay? And certainly from that entry price, which is the current price, to all the way below, we have like double that, okay? So that is like, I don't know how many, but anywhere between 150 to 200 pips, something like that. So certainly it is looking like this is a pretty lengthy move, which it doesn't mean it cannot happen, because look at sometimes climates propagate even more. But you know, the further the distance to the target, as we know, the less the probability we're gonna reach that target, okay? And therefore, you know, you may need to be more active in this trade when it comes to your trade management rules. I'm not saying changing the rules, you're just gonna do what we do, which is to manage the trade based on the rules. I'm just saying that the probability of having to use those management rules in this trade seem to be a little greater, okay? Good. So anyway, so let's put the trade in place, okay? Because we have everything we need to be able to come up with the nodes, okay? So when I start from top to bottom, we'll start with the stop loss, okay? Where the stop loss would be referred to, remember we said 1 105,044, which is the UFO on the left, isn't it? Red UFO on the left, 105,044. And now remember, that's a buy order, correct? So we're gonna have to round it up to the 4 decimal place, that would be 05. Okay, then it's a stop. Okay, so we're gonna have to add 5 because it's a stop, but also it's a buy order, as I just said. So we also need to add 2 because we buy from the ask. So in other words, we need to add 7 to 5, and that will bring our stop to be located at 105.12. From there, going down, we are looking at the short entry. Okay, where the short entry would be located at 104. Remember, we said earlier it was going to be 94.9. Okay, but we need to round to the 4 decimal place, and that's going to be a sell order, right? So we round down, so 94.9 becomes 94. Okay, and that would mean that we have a distance from entry to target of 18 pips. Okay, 12 and 6 is 18. So our safety target would need to be below the entry by 18 pips. Okay, and that would be so we start with 104.94. Okay, and then we need to subtract 18, I said, right? Yes, 18. So that's gonna be 76 if I am not mistaken with my math. Okay, so 104.76, and then the final target then is what we got from the 4-hour time frame earlier when I switched charts, and we said it was going to be 103.67, which is another 100 pip move, a little more than 100 pips to go from 76 to 67 or 367. Okay, so that would be the trade, and certainly it seems that we may need just a little extra waiting time here because we need the Aussie dollar against the New Zealand dollar to come back here so we can take the trade, and from there we would expect the move to the downside to begin. Okay, so we need to wait for that entry point while the price is currently right there. Okay, right there. Very good. So let me take a look at possible questions, and I will be eager to go back to the red screen and see what's going on. Yeah, Bojan got a point. Thank you for that reminder, Bojan. If you are enjoying the YouTube session and you appreciate those videos, it'd be very nice of you to click like or even make a comment. That would be very appreciated too, okay? Anyway, so what else do we have here? So we had 7 minutes ago, okay, we had the clock surpass 9:15 a.m. New York time, and therefore lots of the climates here have updated, but still we are dealing with a very extended market, with the gold, with the Nasdaq, with the S&P. The euro is less extended but still quite extended. Okay, also the Japanese yen is very extended, and the natural gas is less extended but still very extended, even though that one is hopeful. Okay, we saw that earlier. And yeah, so waiting time, that's the rule today with futures. Very incredible moves already happened, so it's time for us to wait, not to chase, and therefore we're gonna just keep the discipline, and while we wait we're gonna make some money from the forex markets looking at other opportunities. Okay, so with the cross pairs, okay, we have the euro AUD and Swiss franc Japanese yen with confirmed climates. Okay, unfortunately they both have the word hopeful, and it's actually quite hopeful because we are talking about 10 candles each out of 5 and 5, or 6 and 5 if you wish. So it's extended, so we just forget about it. Okay, and all the other opportunities on the top, which seem nice because everything is one, so it's beginning of a new climate. Unfortunately, it's the beginning of a new climate, but those climates are not confirmed in a proper way. That's why we have the gray color. So again, we need to wait. In this case, we need to wait more because it's the 4-hour time frame, and confirmation of those climates defining themselves may take longer. Okay, now good news. Okay, good news, we have 0.52, that's the Aussie New Zealand that we just checked. We're at 0.65, the euro pound, so we may have an alert with a euro pound anytime, and those are sensible. Okay, and then below it's all hopeful. Okay, so again, looking for and waiting for the euro pound. Maybe we can go ahead and take a look because it's very close to 0.5, so it doesn't seem to me that could be wasted time. It could certainly be time properly used. Okay, and then we can also look at the Canadian dollar trade that earlier we planned using the 4-hour time frame, which is still available, but it's also flashing now on the 60-minute time frame, so we may have an opportunity there too. So let's do that. Okay, we'll start with the euro pound, and then we'll move into the US dollar Canadian. okay? So let's load EUR GBP and see what is available. So first, from a climate point of view, 2 out of 6, we knew from the radar screen, that was good. From an EMA point of view, we are looking at 85.36, okay, 85.36. And 85.36, unfortunately, is somewhere here, and somewhere here, there is no UFO on the minute time frame. I just want to check the range time frame to see if there is one. Oh, yeah, almost. Okay, we got a UFO from 32 to 34. Okay, but unfortunately, there is nothing at 36. And by the way, the moving average is moving, meaning that if the euro pound goes up, okay, then the moving average will tend to bend a little bit to the upside and go higher. So that 36 may end up being 40. And, you know, we're still far here, it's 55. And that one, certainly 40, is all the way there. So we would have passed that little guy by a lot. Okay, so yeah, euro pound not giving us a proper setup. Okay, so quick look at the radar screen, and if not, I'll be looking at the US dollar, Canadian dollar, and in a few minutes we'll have the US market open. So hopefully everything will spice up in the futures markets, because right now, yeah, I mean, we have a sensible alert, but it's a non-confirmed climate on crude oil. So I'm just not touching it until it's confirmed. Okay. Again, we talked about this in prior sessions. It is not wrong to go for unconfirmed climates. You still got some odds in your favor, but you would certainly have more odds in your favor if the climate was to be confirmed. Since we got multiple markets in the radar screen, and we don't need to do much manually, isn't it? Radar screen is saving us plenty of time to find the opportunities. So you know what? I can be picky. Now today, picky means also, at least for now, to trade too much, because I don't have any alert that matches my rules. Okay, but again, those things, okay, you never want this to create any sort of negative feel in you, because markets change in an instant. Okay, how many times? I mean, some of you, let me ask you, so you guys could answer yourself instead of I give you the answer. How many times you guys that have been using these tools for a while, how many times you've been in a situation where it's like, oh my God, what a boring market today. Next thing you know, 10 minutes later, it's like, you know, you wish to be faster because like 3 markets are meeting entry at the same time, right? So this could happen, right? And it happened to us as well here in the session. So, you know, feel free to comment if it happened to you. So you always want to keep in that control mindset, and, you know, never in a rush, always relaxed, mindset under control. So good. Okay, the market is doing its thing. We are just going with the flow, and whenever the opportunities arise, we'll you know, take advantage. Okay. So anyway, you had plenty of those, isn't it, dear? Yeah. So again, we need to control our mindset. This is really a comment for the ones of you that are newer to the business of trading. Okay, and you may be all excited when it comes to executing trades, and of course, it's very exciting. I get it. But at the same time, when it comes to trading, you know, we don't care about anything. We only care about being proud of doing a good job. That's the only thing we care about. The market is just doing its thing. Our job is just to go with the flow, adapt to it. Okay, so we can be in a position of high probability. So what do we have? 4 candles out of 5.16. We rounded up to 6. Certainly, right time to plan a trade on the Canadian dollar in the 60-minute time frame. At this moment in time, we have the EMA there located at 133.05, and 05 in here is not giving us any UFO, but right here 049, I guess you're with me that calling this 05, it's certainly you know, a valid choice, isn't it? So now this UFO is crazy narrow. It's a very narrow UFO with less than 1 pip width, and you know, when the distance between lines becomes so narrow, and we are dealing with a decentralized market where different brokers may have different prices, so then it could happen very easily that you load this chart with a different data feed. Instead of FXCM, you pick another broker, and next thing you know, that UFO does not exist. So I am not confident, and the only way to take this trade would be to wait for price to come in it, and the moment price comes in it, then instead of taking the trade, you would then begin looking at the 3 range time frame, okay, to look for reactive UFOs and be able to plan trades manually only if reactive UFOs were to show up on the screen, you would then go ahead and take a trade, okay, as an entry with a greater degree of evidence, given how narrow that UFO is, okay? But anyway, let's go back to the red screen. The market is going to open in just a few seconds, okay? Actually, the market just opened, okay? Well, it seems that my trade station is like a few seconds ahead of my Windows clock, okay, which is something that could certainly happen. So the market just opened, but still the euro very extended, the market's extended, everything is extended, the yen, natural gas, everything is extended, and those climates are still unconfirmed, okay? So yeah, we're gonna have to be more patient with futures today. Yeah, that's what it is, you know, in a different way, but this happened last week with Thanksgiving. That was not a surprise when you trade in a slow week. Today actually is the opposite. Today the market has been too fast before the market started, and therefore the market is now in that stage where there may be a little bit of a fight, where some people want to keep trading in that direction, but the people that traded in that direction earlier, they are probably collecting profits, and therefore you got a big fight between buy and sell orders, and therefore not much is happening, at least for now. And so we have to wait, okay? That's what it is. So back to Forex markets to see what is available out there. So when looking at the majors, we are still dealing with the US dollar CAD, both in the 60 and the 4-hour time frame. Okay, we already commented that the 4-hour time frame did give us a setup. The 60 minutes is not, unless you want to do it reactively. Then everything else is extended to 0.97. And here again 2, 179, 1, 0.95, 138, 1.3. Everything is extended. Okay, we are looking for those 0.5, or as you saw me do earlier, I was still attracted to the euro pound that was 0.65, but certainly planning trades when you are 280 hours away from your ideal price, it's kind of like wasting our time. Okay, so I could certainly do it for practice purposes if there is no other opportunity. But I prefer to plan trades that are actually ready to be executed instead of trades that are only theory. But then when it's time to take a trade, your EMA has moved too much, because when you plan the trade, your distance to the EMA was too much as well, okay? Anyway, so when it comes to miners, okay, what do we have? Yeah, so no changes. All of this is non-confirmed. The Aussie is fine, but we already planned the trade on that one. And then below we have 0.59, 0.57. Okay, so the euro pound, we already said not a go. The Aussie Swiss franc, it's very close to 0.5, and it's 1 out of 6, meaning sensible. So that way, that one certainly makes sense for me to check. We have similar situations with the USD Sing dollar and the GBP Swiss franc with 0.6, 0.6. But now notice that this is, actually it's hopeful. Yeah, I didn't look at this properly, so forget about it, it's hopeful. Yeah, so that's it. So the next one I'm going to check is the Aussie Swiss franc, okay? And I'll keep an eye on futures to see if something forms, but still all the same. So we are back to Forex, back to the 4-hour time setup, and looking at the Aussie Swiss franc, which is not exactly trading at the price we want, but very, very close. Okay. So, look, I'm just going to explain what we have here. We're not going to like it, okay? Let me tell you this, but I'm just going to explain it so you understand why. So that way you can train your eyes the same way I just did. So it took me seconds to realize I don't have a trade. So if you were to be doing that yourself at home, you would not need to waste your time. But I'm just going to explain it to you so you can train your eyes, okay? So what do we have? You know, climate is confirmed, that's good. 1 of 6, that's good. All of this is good. Then 68, that's the average, okay? And 68 is in between a UFO. All of this is good, okay? Up to this point, I'm fine. But then the next thing I start looking at is overlaps. And the moment I look at overlaps, I see 78, which you need to run out at 79. And then I see 83. And remember, you would take 79 at 7, certainly this is going to overlap with this one. Okay, but what else? Okay, what else do I see that shows up from behind the pure red UFO? Well, I see a darker red UFO showing up from from behind the pure red UFO, isn't it? In other words, if I was to shrink this, we have, as you can see, 3 UFOs overlapping each other with an entry around 60 something, and like the stop would be like 40 plus pips away from the entry, because all of these, the blue circle represents the whole area that will be your trading area to get short. In other words, that area is way too wide, and it would be okay from a reward to risk ratio point of view if the target was to be really far out, okay? But even though it would be okay from a reward to risk ratio point of view, it would not be okay when it comes to defining a safety target that adds safety, okay? Because for the safety target to add safety, it needs to be relatively near in a way where you take advantage of the safety target to remove the risk of the trade and allow you to enter more trades in parallel. But if the distance between entry and stop is going to be so much, then my safety target is going to be so far that it's just acting like a target. It is not providing safety from that point of view, and therefore that would be a reason to discard the trade because the trade will provide much less benefits compared to having, like we saw earlier with the US dollar, Canadian dollar, or also the AUD New Zealand dollar. We had that clearly identified UFO with a little bit of overlap with the range time frame we actually saw, isn't it? But it was just like a couple of pips, not a big deal. In this case, we're talking about 40 plus pips. Half of the daily move of this currency, maybe 40 pips. So it's like, just to get to safety, you need to spend 12 hours traveling in that direction. Being an intraday trader, reaching safety in 12 hours is not efficient, right? You will want to reach your target in 12 hours, not the safety, okay? So anyway, so I'm back to the radar screen, see what's available, and yeah, we can see that markets are coming closer to the averages, okay? Which tells me that maybe in 9 minutes, when we have an update of the climate, the EMS will update and get closer to price, and price is getting closer to the average. So the two things together may start producing opportunities for us in 9-minute times. If not, everything else, it's about the same, where the only market that could be tradable is crude oil, but the climate is not confirmed, okay? USDCAD and Aussie New Zealand dollar hit the entry. Yeah, and I'm not surprised about that. They were quite close, isn't it? So now if you enter this trade and you are in, yeah, very good. So the Aussie New Zealand dollar is entering the trade as we speak, okay? And now you are all set for a 100 plus pip move to the downside, okay? So now you have your climate, your on-field orders, your direct force, indirect force, all those different things working together for you. And when it comes to the USD AUD, okay, that one was about to meet entry earlier, and it went to 04, 133.04. So depending on the broker you use, okay, remember we add 2 because we buy from the ask. So depending on the broker that you use, you may have gut filled or not. If you have gut filled, you are 2 pips in the profit at the moment, which of course it's nothing, it's just the beginning, okay? But anyway, it's nice to see a little bit of a reaction to the trade setup on your way to 100 plus pip target as well, okay? Okay, so what else? Come on, market, give us something that we can trade with high probability. So what else do we have? Well, I'm looking at stats here. The euro yen could be a good candidate, okay, with 1 candle out of 4. Certainly sensible, but still 0.9 is far from 0.5. So not a good entry. And everything else has already been addressed. All of this is hopeful. And the ones that are sensible is either they are not confirmed or they are too far from entry. So nothing here. In the middle here, what do we have? Everything is far, 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 far. And here, far, far, far. Okay, so yeah. So waiting. That's our job right now, sitting on our hands, which, by the way, that is probably the most important thing that we do as traders, which is not to trade. Okay, not to trade. I remember when I was in my process of learning how to trade, And my personality, some of you know me because you've been in the sessions for a while, and you know my personality is quite perfectionist, even though when I trade, I try to put that on the side the most I can. I cannot find my genes, but I certainly try to push that as far away I can from me. But when I was learning and I was in that very perfectionist stage, I remember one day reviewing my results, I had this thought, which is, oh my God, if I could just remove, I don't know, 10, 20% of the trades where I lost, okay, and keep the winners the way they are. I don't want more winners, just remove some of the losses. And I did the math and it was like, oh my God, I would go from a certain scenario to an amazing scenario. And so again, sitting on our hands and not trading is, you could say, just as important as trading, maybe even more important than trading, okay, depending on how you want to look at it. But certainly it's part of trading, it's our job, okay? So make sure you understand you are trading when you're not trading, okay? That's something not easy to understand, especially if you are new, because when we are new, certainly we are eager to hit that button, isn't it? No matter if it's real or paper money, but we just want to click, okay? So it's important to keep that discipline level all the time. Okay, so guys, how is it going so far? Give me some feedback while we're waiting 4 more minutes to have an update on the climate on the futures markets, because there is nothing else that is close to entry, so there is not much of a point to execute any trade, to plan any trade right now. We're just waiting for 4 minutes. So any question, give me some feedback. How is it going? How many of you were in the class last week? How many of you could make it to the first get-together session after your first class? How did it go? Ray, good to see you, my friend. Dear, just a little more. It was never my thinking that maybe big money for me. It was always my sitting. Got that, my sitting tight. Oh, wow, very nice quote. Definitely. Very savvy quote, absolutely. Geneva, good. Bojan, I was, very good. Ahmad, good as well. Okay, good. Yeah, so just waiting, guys. Just waiting to have permission to go into a chart and execute those trades, okay? And we also need to train ourselves, and I remember discussing this in prior sessions as well. But at this moment in time as well, especially if you are doing this yourself at home, right? And it's you and your computer, it's you and your chart. You may be triggered by all sort of temptations. It's like, okay, you know what? I know the S&P, it's 2.67, 8 years away from entry, so I don't have anything to plan there. It's been like 20 candles into the current climate. This is such an extended move. It's certainly crazy to enter now, but I'm curious. Let's go take a look, right? So train yourself to fight curiosity. Who cares? Okay, it's just a chart. It's just a market. I know it's the S&P or the Nasdaq or crude oil or the euro or the Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what's your favorite. It's in the end it's just a market. Okay, so train yourself when if you feel that urge to go take a look. Train yourself to not to. Okay, just be disciplined, following the data we have in front of us that is telling us there's nothing to do. So just do nothing, because your job right now is to do nothing. Okay, just make sure you do that. Okay. Ray, practice. I just posted my first idea on TradingView. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice one. Mark, still can get MTR on my phone to accept limit orders. Okay, Mark, so we'll have to talk about it, okay, because it's quite simple actually. You've got filled on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. Very good. Yes, I can see the CAD went down to 0.2. Okay, I got it. Perfect. Ahmad, you are in both trades, the CAD and the Aussie New Zealand dollar. Okay, good. So you know what? Since we are a little bit of waiting, so if you allow me I just need to do a little bit of plugging and unplugging to get my phone on the screen, and I'd be more than glad to share with you my phone, so Mark, I can help you with setting those limit orders. Okay. Okay, so I'm just getting my software ready here. Just give me a sec. Okay, so view. Okay, good. So this is my phone that you can see on the screen. Okay, by the way, this, oh, sorry for that. This one, this is MT4, okay? And by the way, the trade that I have running here in this account is the trade that we put together in class the other day. Okay, this is the trade that we put together in class the other day that reached safety target while we were in class, but then continued moving towards the target, okay? And it's currently traveling towards that direction, okay? So the take profit target is 39, current price is 05, so we are 34 pips away from the entry from the target in this trade, okay? Good. So anyway, going back to you, here we go. I'm just gonna go for quotes. So going back to you, Mark. Let me see. I have an alert in here. Yeah, everything is the same. Hopeful, even though natural gas is about to be, but it's hopeful. Canadian dollar. Yeah, everything is the same. Okay. So let me go back to my phone, and let me go ahead and talk about placing the limit order that Mark needs, okay? So we had a trade earlier on the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, okay? Or this trade here with the US dollar CAD, okay? So the current price is 06, which is slightly above price, okay? So let's say you wanted to place an order with the US dollar CAD, okay? So you would just point at the CAD, click on it, okay? And then go for new order. And the moment you tap on new order, okay? What you need to do is change market execution here on the top, change that to buy limit, okay? And that would now allow you to type 05 if this is what you want to do, okay? So that's how you would place the limit order. And then okay, I don't know why this keeps showing up. And when it comes to the stop, okay, I forgot what the stop value was, okay? But I'm just gonna place it lower, 133, just for the sake of this practice, okay? So Mark can see. Oh, sorry for that. The home screen thing keeps showing up, and for the target, I'm just gonna input whatever, just for Mark to see. So I'm just gonna have a target at 10, which is way too close, but it's okay. So now the key, Mark, is to have on the top buy limit, okay? The moment, okay, sorry for that, guys. So the moment you have buy limit on the top, you input your price, okay? So now you will be able to go ahead. You will be able to go ahead. I need to show you the bottom part of my phone. This one. You will be able to click place, okay? Which is how you enter the order, okay? And the moment you click place, the order is now open, and we have the US dollar CAD order, which is a limit order, waiting to get filled. Sorry, guys, I'm really sorry about the home message that keeps showing up, okay? But anyway, that's how you do it, okay? That's how you do it, and that's it. It's quite simple. So the key, again, one more time, Mark, is that when you are about to place your order, okay, you tap on the currency you want to trade, in this case, Aussie, and you click new order, okay? You need to make sure that you have selected buy limit, okay, not market execution. The moment you select buy limit, everything will then be fine, okay? Buy limit right there, okay? Buy limit when you want to go long, or of course sell limit if you want to go short. Okay, guys, not sure what's happening with my phone here with the connection. Sorry for that. Keeps showing the Google home screen. That was not my plan, but anyway, it's all good. So now, Mark, if you don't mind, I would appreciate if you could confirm that I did answer your question, okay? Hopefully what I just explained is what you needed to see to confirm on how to place the order. Oh, you found the missing step. Okay, got it. Perfect. I'm just reading it now. Perfect. Wonderful. Okay, so back to our radar screen. What do we have? Okay, well, we have 11 more minutes before the session is over, and I cannot believe that not much is happening at all. Okay, well, the US dollar CAD is moving now 10 pips away from entry, so that's nice. Okay, remember the safety target was 15 pips away, so 5 more pips and we'll be in the safety. Okay, so that's nice. Okay, so you can see the Canadian dollar moving up. Okay, so you have the power of the on-field orders working together with the climate all together, and so it's nice to see. Okay, and good job there, you guys taking the trade with the Aussie New Zealand. Let's see what's going on with the miners. Aussie New Zealand. Okay, that one too. It's moving in the direction of profitability. Okay, so you've got field right there, and now it's moving down, and the safety target is also lower. Okay, so yeah, I mean the trades are working fine at the moment, which is nice. When you have a good beginning of a trade, it says a lot about the setup and the on-field orders and everything else. It doesn't guarantee anything, of course, but a good beginning is always a good beginning. It certainly does give you a little bit of an enhanced probability of being able to at least reach your safety target. Okay, so that's nice. That given the fact that today we have a limited activity, we are at least experiencing the trades working well in our direction. That is very nice. But I am certainly looking for at least one way to give you one practice. Okay, in today's session. Because again, it's kind of my role to help you develop your skill and support you on how to use the apps and the flow chart and everything we do. And of course, if the market doesn't give me an opportunity, I cannot improvise it. But at the same time, I would really like to be able to help you in that practice. Okay, so I'm reviewing everything else. Okay, so again, the one that is quite close is natural gas, but it's totally hopeful. 18. The euro 0.87 is still far. We got a new flashing light there, but it's all of this is non-confirmed. US dollar CAD, we already took this trade. This one too. Yeah, so that one we have it. All of this is hopeful. And here we are dealing with the euro pound. We already saw that, which is 69. And Aussie Swiss is far now. Yeah, so yeah, it's waiting, guys. It's waiting. Today it's a waiting game. And that's what it is. I mean, good thing is that at least while we're waiting, Canadian dollar is moving our way, all those things. But yeah. So we got 8 more minutes. Okay, so you guys feel free to go ahead and any question you may have or anything. Feel free to comment, and this is not a sharpening session today, so in theory I should be in trading mode, not really in answering Q&A mode if you wish, but certainly I'm here for you guys, and since it's waiting time, we can certainly use that time wisely. So if you have any question about your practice, prior trades you have executed, the use of the apps, anything, you can certainly go ahead and comment. Okay, Mark, I will email you after I put the stop and target in, then the place went gray. Okay, so this mark happens because probably you place the order, and what happens is that the market went below your limit price. So if it was a buy limit, okay, the way MT4 works, okay, if you are about to buy at a price which is better than let me repeat that. With MT4, if you were to buy with market orders and a market price was to give you a better price than a limit price, then MT4 will gray out the limit order. Okay, with TradeStation, it would not be like that. TradeStation would get you filled at that better price. But with MT4, it's not like that. If the current price is below your buy limit, then MT4 grays out the word place, and you have to go with market execution. Okay, That's just empty for stuff. That's how it is. Different platforms are different. That's all. Okay. So switch to market execution and go for it, and you'll be fine. That's the only time you will have that button gray out, when the current price is below your buy limit, or when the current price is above your sell limit, meaning that with a market order, you will get the better price than the limit price you set. Okay. So that's why. Okay. So let me see. Everything the same. Everything the same. Yeah, I'm just reviewing every one of the rows, and yes, it's all the same. So we just need to wait. Okay, so waiting mode. That is the title of today's session. We're gonna call it when we post the recording on YouTube. We're gonna call it instead of get together short term. Today we're gonna call it get together waiting game, something like that. Ray, your lesson really helped me remove my bias in spot Forex short term. I really thought spot is just for swing trades only. Yeah, I hear you. And yeah, I mean, you know, when you want to be very active with the Forex markets, you know, you need more precision. Okay, activity short term equals precision, and the nature of spot Forex is decentralized by nature, right? So we have limited precision, even if you use very good brokers, like we did last week in the course, isn't it? Still, you have limited precision because different brokers may have different quotes. So if you really want to get very, very active short-term intraday, you need to be using the Euro futures, the Japanese yen futures. You need to be using tick charts, volume charts, and now you can get more precise, okay, and that's fine. At the same time, you also have limited opportunities because with high level of liquidity, I mean, if you look at my list, I got the Euro futures and the yen. Could you add the pound, the Aussie? Yes, you could, but really they are not that liquid if you want to be that short term. Okay, and so again, you can be more active, but you have less currencies. Okay, or you can be more relaxed but trade more currencies, or maybe you can do all together. You know, you take some of the trades based on the 4-hour time frame, you take some of the trades based on the 60, and then, you know, maybe you get active with the euro and the yen. You know, and you can do a little bit of everything. Now, again, it depends on where you are at in your education curve as well. Okay, good. So we have possible sensible long confirmed climate on the euro, 3 out of 5. Okay, so hey, let's go ahead and see if we have a trade on the euro. Okay, hopefully we can plan on a trade. So I'm going to open the workspace with the euro, and it seems that the euro is moving a lot, 0.86 already. Okay, I'll just open the workspace, okay, since I started, and if there is a setup, we'll put it together, and if not, we'll pass. But anyway, Ray, in learning mode, okay, and you have some experience yourself, but you know, for traders that are coming into this arena for not too long, I would suggest to spend some time, you know, with a specific style, get comfortable, get the rules around, get the habits, get the level of confidence up, and then explore other styles and then combine. But don't try to multitask too much at the beginning, because that's going to be the recipe to make many mistakes and then don't learn from them. You know, making mistakes is fine. Losing money is fine, as long as the money you paid in the market, you know, converts into a lesson. But if you are taking too many trades, you're multitasking too much, you get confused with the time frames because you do different styles at the same time, and you're new to trading. So next thing you know, not only you lose money, that you don't learn from it. And that's, you know, in my mind, it's not worth it at all, okay? So just understand who you are, experience a few styles, see what matches you the best, and go for it, okay? But don't have preconceived biases because you've seen someone trading a particular way, including me. It doesn't mean you have to trade that way. Maybe your set of time frames will be different. Maybe you'll be more active or less active or whatever. So we are all different, and we all know the importance of the mindset in trading, okay? So go ahead and experience yourself, and, you know, get to understand the trader in you and trade like you, okay? Once you know who is you, Ray the trader, okay? Very good. Nice comments. I love it. I'm very happy to see those realizations. So what do we have here? Okay, so with the Euro futures, 3 candles, okay, so 3 out of 5. So it's an okay time for us to enter. average 110.87, so 87.1 certainly falls in here, isn't it? So 87.2, let me see. The top is 87.0, okay, 87.0. Currently the average is 87.1, but of course, if the euro drops from 91 to 87, that is like 4 pips. If it drops by 4, certainly the average will be less, okay, let's say 86 or something like that, and that falls in between that UFO. Obviously, those two UFOs are touching each other, so we would need to call them one. The bottom part here is 83. The top part here is 82.5. Oh my God, no, we cannot. Yeah, that's that kind of day today, my friends, okay? Because if you place your stop below 83 by 1 tick, you are actually touching the next UFO. So basically, the way to deal with this trade would be to get all those 3 UFOs together as a big fat UFO, okay, and trade that guy. And if you do that, I'm gonna make the same comment I made earlier when it comes to the inconvenience of having your safety target far and therefore not acting as safety. Okay, so no euro trade. Last look, crude oil. Here we go. You see, things are activating now. 1 out of 4 confirmed climate, 0.45, flashing near sensible short. So crude oil had just experienced a change of climate. So I'm going to go ahead and load crude oil and see if we have a trade or not. And after we look at the crude oil trail, the crude oil trade, then we will call it the day. So while I'm loading crude oil, I want to go back to bar charts. I would like to go into energies. Okay, I would like to look at crude oil West intermediate CL. So we get to see the right contract to be traded, which is F20. Okay, keep that in mind. That's important stuff. Let me see what I have on my trade station, because sometimes you may forget to save, sometimes you don't. So yes, I didn't. I got F20. Okay, so that's the symbol I'm using. So I'm doing well. But it's important to double check. Okay, and by the way, not only the symbol, the extra confirmation comes to you when you also look at the volume and the open interest, and you get to see the greatest value, and you get to see that F20 is the row. Okay, so that's the one. Okay, that's the one, and we are doing well. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and look at this chart to see if an opportunity is available or not. Okay, so again, 1 candle out of 4, we'll round it up to 5, so that's fine. 55.76, that's where the UFO, that's where the average is. 76 is right here. Okay, so that UFO doesn't give me the confidence I need, and the reason why it's simple. It's because if crude oil goes up from 58 to 76, the EMA is called a moving average for a reason. It moves, that's why it's moving, right? And therefore 76 is gonna be higher, given the fact that the top is 77. So the EMA is gonna be very likely above this UFO. So we cannot rely on that UFO. We need to go just a little higher. Okay, so a little higher, certainly this one could do. Not that one, but the one on top that begins at 77. So we can certainly use that one, 77, with the ending at 93. Okay, ending at 93 is also this one. So really, this UFO overlaps with a portion of that UFO from 88 to 93. Okay, something like that. They overlap. So, but again, not to miss the trade, we would want to use 77 as the entry. And I need to see 77 is right there as well, and that goes to 81 and 81, 81. Yeah, that's overlapping with this one, and that one overlaps with this one, which is 93, which is also 93, which is also 93. So it's pretty clear that in this trade, the entry would be 77 with the stop above, which is 94. That would be the entry. Okay, so the question here is the target. Okay, so I'm just gonna maximize this chart, enable study, activate AutoUFO. Okay, see where are the green UFOs. I don't have any green UFO at the moment, so I'm gonna disable everything just so I can do a little bit of research to see how far I need to go to see prices. I could go all the way to, yeah, I need to go all the way to January 16. Okay, so when doing this, okay, notice what I have done, because loading data all the way to January 16, that's gonna be very problematic to run AutoUFOs while ticks are being updated. It's a huge amount of ticks. Okay, so what I did is I disabled my AutoUFO, so now I can go ahead and load from January 2016 until now. Okay, so I'm just loading data. I am not performing anything, and the moment my PD goes away, so then and only then, what I will do is I will load AutoUFOs, but I will first disconnect TradeStation from the network. That way, there will be only one calculation. There will not be real-time updates. That would be problematic given the amount of trades that happen in crude oil and how much data that needs to be processed real-time, and the limitations of a 32-bit architecture. So to avoid any problem, I mean, maybe you have a super computer and you can handle it, but still with a supercomputer, probably it would be actually problematic. So I'm just gonna do it this way to stay on the safe side. Okay, so PD pending data, messages, download scheduler. We can see here the download is taking place. Okay, so today is waiting time to see what's going on in the red screen, and also waiting time when it comes to the download. Okay, so we'll wait. Anything else? No, crude oil, that's it. It's only crude oil. Okay, you have a trade with a New Zealand dollar that is also a possible valid one. That one I will leave it for you to plan. Okay. Okay, Mr. TradeStation. So the session should be officially over, guys. Okay, so if some of you have to go, I certainly understand. But at the same time, I would like to complete this plan. Again, as I said, I understand it this way, that part of my role is to support you on how to put together your trading actions and the technology and everything we use. And I need to give you examples for that. So I'm just gonna wait until this is downloaded so I can plan the trade. And maybe the trade is not valid, maybe it is valid. I would say it should be valid because we do have a proper climate and a proper entry. So we just need a target, and that would do. Okay. Right, something you need to know about. Okay, now we have it. Good. So I was going to say that something you need to know about downloads with TradeStation is that the servers got limited uploading speed. So it doesn't matter really how fast your internet connection is. There is only how much you can go for when downloading data from TradeStation servers. So anyway, I just downloaded the data I need. So now I'm gonna use a special command which is OFFL, and that allows you to, as you can see, work offline. So the moment I do that, okay, I am now offline. I could have done it manually by just using my mouse, but this saves you a little bit of time. And now I'm going to go ahead and enable studies, which is AutoUFO. So it's going to take a while because it's a lot of data, but again, it should not be that much. And the moment this is processed, that's it. I will be able to see where my UFOs are, okay, which is right there, okay. So what's my target for crude oil? Well, for crude oil, my target would be 54.81. Sorry, 54.86. I'm not sure why I said 81 is 86. 54.86, okay. This is almost 1 point below. that qualifies for a fantastic trade if that was to happen. But certainly it could happen when commodity markets start moving. 0.77 in one day is nothing. Okay, we've seen those markets move like easy 4 or 5% a day. So certainly that is achievable. Okay, so what am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to go back to my normal amount of bars, which is 500. I'm going to go back to my beautiful auto climate, my beautiful zooming view. Okay, and of course I need to reconnect TradeStation. To do that, I'm going to use a command line. Starts with dot and then ONL, and that is for working online. And the moment I do that, okay, it's gonna ask me for password again, okay, which I am inputting now, and now I am back to be connected with TradeStation like I never disconnected before. Okay, but that way, you know, that's how you handle very lengthy, collections of data to be able to assess stuff without getting into computer issues. Okay, good. So what do we have? Okay, well, we have a trade where we said the entry would be, I'm just gonna place the order, okay, so you get to see it visually. Okay, so we said the entry would be 77. Okay, so I'm just using two contracts there mechanically at 77. Yeah, the stop will be located at 94. Okay, so that is how much. Okay, let's make no mistake. Sometimes you want to save time and you make a mistake and it costs you money. So 94 minus 77 is 17 minus 77, that's 60. Okay, so safety target should be located at 60. Okay, and the final target we said 54.86, which is way lower. Just a little more, we'll have the trade and we'll be ready. Okay, so you can take a note. Okay, here we go. So we have it. Okay, so you can see here, probably the best chart to observe this is the one on the left. So 55.77, that's the entry. Stop is 94, which is above this UFO. Safety target, equal distance right here. And then final target, 54.86. We had to load a lot of data to find a target, isn't it? The average is 76 right now. But again, if the market goes up from 59 back to the average will be higher. Hence, the use of this upper UFO and ignoring the below one. When it comes to stop placement, notice how the stop is in the white space, as well in the share time frame, and also the stop is also on the white space on the tick time frame. So you know all time frames show a good proper location for the stop, and then you know you have a little bit of confluence with that UFO together with this, and also this, and also that one. Okay, so looking like a powerful trade. Okay, so we just need crude oil to move up from 64 to 77 and you would be in the trade. Not too happy, in case you were wondering about that, the safety target is a little wide. Okay, but again, given the volatility of commodity markets and the fact that we already had one volatility spike, and that's probably scaring everybody, and we may have another push, in cases like that, you know, I would see it as valid to take this trade. If you feel uncomfortable with so much risk and your account cannot handle it, just wait for price to come into the tradable UFOs and use the reactive timeframes to hopefully get to see a red UFO to show up and take the trade from that UFO, expecting prices to go down instead of the upper UFO, because the upper UFOs will always be wider. Okay, but anyway, Irwin, CL has been touched once. That doesn't matter at all. The app is doing way more intense processing of data than what the human eye can do, and the fact that the UFOs are still showing up on the screen means that the app understands the probability is still high. True it is that some UFOs are of a darker color, some are of a lighter color, and the one on the left is actually lighter color, which means that the app understands that the amount of orders found there, it's slightly less compared to what you should find when the UFO is full dark colored. But it doesn't mean it's a low probability trade. If that was the case, then the app would simply delete the UFOs from the screen. And certainly if you were to be very conservative as a trader and you were to say, you know what, Jose, I'm going to pass on the trade because the UFO is light and I want more probability, so I'm only going to trade the dark ones, then it would not be a crazy idea. It would just make you more conservative, and therefore you would trade less often, and you should expect a little bit of a higher result from a probability point of view, but you will trade less often, which when it comes to making money, I personally believe that you would probably produce a little less because of less activity. So it comes down to trader personality, and certainly doing your backtest and understanding your methodology, your markets, etc. would also help you to have a good decision about it. Okay, my case, wherever I got a UFO, I don't care if it's light or dark. If the setup is fine, I'll take it. Okay, but anyway, guys, I have extended the session by 15 minutes. Which I certainly love to spend time with you guys, and I can do longer than that, isn't it? But we gotta be respectful with the schedule as well, and all of you, I'm sure you are busy and you have things to do too. So we'll call it a day, and I will see you again in a couple of days on Thursday for our option session, and we'll be looking at longer term trades at that time. Okay. Pansy, my pleasure. Thank you very much. Very kind of you to write that message concerning last week's class. Certainly my pleasure. Okay, I had a lot of fun and having the time to explain everything from the beginning, from scratch, like you guys never tried it before, where some of you had already great experience. So it's been a great experience for me too as your instructor. Okay, so thank you for that opportunity, guys. But anyway, see you soon. See you on Thursday. Bye everyone. Take care. Be safe. Follow the rules. Bye.